Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz. Today is Friday, March 14th, and this is the Search Buzz video recap, the search news we covered over the past week at scroundtable.com and the Search Engine Roundtable. This week was XMX West, so there's a lot of things going on. I just landed from a red eye, so I'm a bit tired, but either way, let me discuss what's going on. Matt Cutts announced at XMX West that a softer, more gentler Panda update is coming sometime in the future. He called it the next generation Panda update. They're currently working on it, and he said a specific team of his that are working on looking at ways to make the Google algorithm more friendly or friendlier to small businesses is specifically involved in this Panda algorithm that will soften the effect of it and help small businesses rank better. Yes, Google did have, this is where he actually made the announcement on stage, and Google did have, back last May, they announced the softer Panda update, which was released in July. We only noticed about 18% fully recover from that, which is pretty big actually, and so forth. Google also this week launched a major new redesign in terms of their new look, as you've been seeing for a while. Probably you've seen it already, and it's kind of hard to see, but basically, zoom in here a little bit. This is the new design with the whiter, larger fonts. Layout. The ads obviously blend in more. They only have an ad label instead of having a yellowish background. And you can see this is the old one with underlines and much more look. I personally like it a lot. There are people who really hate it, and obviously when Google makes changes, people are always not so happy with those changes. Another big news that came out at XMX West was from Google, the head of Google Search, announced somewhat, or said something around not provided. So he basically said, he told Danny Sullivan on his keynote that they're aware of what's going on with the community. They do also understand that searchers like the security and the privacy behind SSL search and the way Google has been blocking or query data from passing to analytics on the organic side. But they do understand the inconsistency that the ad side has with the organic side. This is what Matt Cutts said to explain. He said, note that Amit said we're happy with securing search on organic, but we hear the feedback regarding ads and how it's perceived. He also said, I think that his discussion of not provided perception with ads, including some insight and hints. So obviously there's lots of things that could happen with this. Google's obviously working on something with not provided. If I had to guess, it's probably around ads and securing those as well. But we have no timelines, we know nothing really about that at all. And obviously I'll keep you up to date when things change on that. Also, Amit went ahead and described, there's a big thing about how Google is being a scraper. I discussed that a week or two ago, and stealing people's content and obviously giving people answers without having the user click on the search result to the actual website that's providing the answer. So Amit answered that by giving an analogy between the Google results and the publisher. And he said the Google results are like a screwdriver. The knowledge graph is more like the knowledge graph is more like a Swiss Army knife. Okay? Small tools, lets you do little things or whatever it might be, gives you the quick answer. But the publisher's content is the specific tool, like the corkscrew or the screwdriver. And he kept using the screw a lot, which is funny. That being said, so he's saying if searchers need more information, which they most likely do, he said, which they probably don't, honestly, they would click through and get more information about details. If not, not. So that's how Google thinks they're doing good. Google, this is interesting, is another one of these things. So the one thing Google keeps saying, brands become a brand and you'll become powerful. But now if you search for some brands like Money Supermarket, Google puts their results above, in a sponsor box, above the actual brand. Same thing, somebody sent me this confused.com. You do a search for confused.com brand, ad, Google result, then the organic listing. I'm going to move on from that. Matt Cutts announced last week that they are going to be slapping Italian and Spanish link network. I think that's coming. I think he announced at XMX Wax that it's coming in the next week or so. But he announced it on Twitter earlier, basically saying a reminder, 2 different tweets in Spanish about unnatural links, blah, 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 and also a reminder in Italian about the same thing, symbolizing a new paid link penalty is coming, unnatural link penalty is coming to those specific link networks in Italy and Spain. He also announced at XMX West that I think today or the next couple of days, Google's going to be pushing out another penalty towards Germany, a big German link network. Matt Cutts himself said, for some penalties, it's quite difficult to recover for them. And we cover this a lot about when you should build a new site versus building an old site, replacing it, and all this other stuff, and redirecting it. But Matt Cutts specifically said again, it's quite difficult to undo the spam that you do on some sites, and when you do that, you might have to start fresh. Yes, Google will actually look at other sites that you own or operate if you have a manual action. So this goes back and forth. So basically, Matt Cutts said, hey, I know you're complaining and you think you cleaned up the site over here, but you have all these other, these 3 other sites that are also spamming. And if you have a pattern of spamming, and you've been spamming for a while, and these other sites you just are spamming, you're probably going to go ahead and spam on this other, in your old site when you get the penalty removed. So we could, based on that pattern, we know what other sites you have. And hey, be fair and think about what's going to happen with the other sites. Next, Matt Cutts confirmed that they do use some type of author authority or author rank in the search results. Specifically, in one case, he says they use it for in-depth articles. So he said this to Mark. Said, to be fair, this is regarding, again, Amit said in his keynote that they don't use author rank or they don't have author rank. Matt Cutts said actually they do, and it does come in play in some ways, for example, in in-depth articles. Of course, Matt Cutts has said they're actually working on ways to include that in a more broader sense, to give authors specific content information. And what are in-depth articles, just in case you don't know? It's these things you see in the search results that look like this. Interesting, another thing Matt Cutts said last night at XMX Wax, that basically he would, if it was up to him, and he told me this in public in front of everybody, so it's not like a private thing, he would, if he could, give a ranking boost to sites that implement SSL. Now, he's getting a lot of pushback from a lot of people, so he said it's probably not going to happen in 2014, or who knows how long, it probably may never happen, but if it was up to him, he would give a ranking boost to sites that deploy SSL across the board. Amit said at XMX, this is a lot of news coming out of XMX, that these big banner ads that we saw a while ago, you're not going to see them in the search results anytime soon, or probably never, but he would never say never, but he said basically it won't be coming to the search results anytime soon. I kind of like them, but whatever. They're for branded keywords, so it's not such a bad thing. It's a navigational type of keyword. So we used to do Google used to do these search quality highlight posts every month or two at the Google search blog. And they stopped doing it, and we asked them why, what's going on? So somebody asked Matt Cutts why, and Matt Cutts said, we did it for that year. They blogged all the changes that they released, but eventually, he said, the world got bored with it. I don't think I got bored with it, but Matt Cutts and his team felt like we didn't pay enough attention to it, or whatever. If they could it's obviously a lot of work for Google to go ahead and publish that. But that being said, I found them useful, and I'm sure a lot of the SEOs out there did. But the world is a big place, and I'm sure there's only so many SEOs in the world. Concert dates or tour dates. Now, Google had this rich snippet for a while now, but yesterday or early this week, Google actually announced that if you use the rich snippets for this tour data and you put it on the artist website, Google will pull from there first as opposed to pulling from other places. So it tries to figure out what the artist site is, and then we'll use that information. Almost done. Yandex, we talked about a few months ago, back in December, that Yandex will be dropping link factors from their search algorithm, ranking search algorithm, in certain areas in Moscow and certain types of commercial queries. So it actually, 2 days ago, they actually did that. They actually dropped it for certain types of categories of sectors, I think around real estate and specific commercial things like real estate, tourism, electronics, household appliances, other things that are commercial topics. And it's specifically the Moscow region. They're going to see how it goes and go ahead and remove it. Obviously, Yandex felt like they lost their fight with links. Google keeps fighting it. Finally, Yelp and Yahoo formed a partnership. Now, Yahoo's US or local results will have information from Yelp. Specifically, Yelp will provide rich reviews, ratings, photos, and business information directly into Yahoo. And you can see a snippet of it over here. But this is the Yelp information. I can zoom in and you can see a little bit more detail over here about the Yelp information. And obviously, that seems to be a paid partnership with Yelp. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. I'm sorry I'm a bit tired and I haven't slept much, obviously. But it was a great week at XMX West. Today is International Pi Day. Happy Pi Day. And everyone have a great, great weekend. And I'll see you guys next. Again, today is March 14th, Pi Day 2014. And everyone, that was the news at the Search Engine Roundtable at SERoundtable.com. Everyone have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys next. Bye.